Let me dust this thing off here. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Just kidding. Did that for effect. It has been a while though. I feel like it's been a while since I picked up the camera, and I just want to make sure it's not rusty. I've been testing it out here for a little bit. But yeah, thanks for coming back to the channel. My name's Booker. If you're new here, I'm a weekly vlogger here. I try to just post some different things to kind of go about my daily life and just doing the journey of learning videography and learning video editing. So started doing this in September and going on my 6th month coming up here pretty quickly on doing this work. So I'm pretty excited about that. This video is, like the title says, I met Casey Neistat. I do want to tell a story about meeting Casey Neistat. I think it's a cool story to tell. I know it's a clickbaity title, and I apologize for that, but I felt like a lot of folks I told the story to, because it was really just kind of a by chance and random thing. I just want to kind of tell a story and just, share that here on YouTube with you guys. And before I do that, before I get into that, to make sure you hang out and watch that piece of it, I want to talk about 368. I know a lot of folks have made videos about 368 and the micro conference with Creators Offline that I went to a few weeks ago. I did a video, I'll post it down below, of my first trip to New York City, which I just really loved. It was very enjoyable to kind of go to New York City and hang out there. But yeah, I want to tell a story and just kind of thoughts I have about 368. And my New York City video that I did, it got really long, very long-winded, about 15 minutes, one of the longer videos I've done, and I didn't really get a chance to kind of just talk about the conference. I want to take a moment and kind of talk about that a little bit. So bear with me, I'll get to the Casey story, but let's do the 368 stuff first. Cool.
You just keep making videos.
So that's pretty cool. There was a lot of great creators at the event, as you can kind of see. I didn't really record a lot of all of the presenters' speeches. I just wanted to kind of introduce and let you guys see them. But a lot of folks at that event that it was just really cool to meet, and relationships that I've built on. And this happened 3-4 weeks ago almost now, and I was able to really just create some relationships that I've kind of stayed in contact with over time. And it's great to be in a space like that where there's so many folks that are pursuing the same passion that I am. So many folks that are also carrying a camera around, also carrying around a tripod with a mic on it. And it kind of helps you let your guard down and realize you're not really the only one out there. Even though I already knew that, it's just nice to be in a space where you see other people. Walk around South Bend, or when I go into Chicago, I don't see a lot of other folks that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So it's really just kind of nice to have other human beings kind of doing that stuff. So what the micro conference at 368 is the brainchild of Genki Hagata, who was doing a daily vlog, and he was coming up on day 368 in his vlog, and to coincide with 368, the studio, or the building there in New York City, Casey's offices, he wanted to try to do a micro conference. It didn't work out at that time. It worked out to be able to do it there about when we did it in January. There was really a short turnaround time. You had to fill out a 368, put out, say, hey, we're having this micro conference on said day. You had to go and fill out a survey online to get yourself submitted. It wasn't a guarantee you're going to be able to go. And a day later, I was excited enough to be able to get an invitation to go to the event, which I thought was really awesome. I was just blown away by being able to be one of 100 folks selected to go to that. So, I'm not worthy necessarily, but I really just appreciated the opportunity to go. But I really wasn't sure if I was going to. It was a short turnaround time. I had to make arrangements with work to get some time off to be able to go. And I really last minute on Saturday night decided, hey, I got to do this. It's not an opportunity to get to do something like this all the time. So I talked to my family, talked to Christy, and we just made it happen. Talked to my boss, made it happen. I was able to go. So it was awesome. I was super nervous about going. I'd never been to New York City before. I was going by myself. I didn't know anybody personally going there. And the cool thing about it is when I went there, I'd walked up to 368 outside the morning of to kind of just see the place and be like, oh my gosh, that's where Casey's office is at. This is the building that I'm going to be at later today. and another creator named It's Just Me Marie walked up. She had her camera and she was taking pictures. We just started talking, and she was going to the conference as well, and we just kind of parted ways. But it was really great to meet her. It really helped to ease kind of my nerves throughout the day. But yeah, it was awesome. So kind of some things that I learned from 368. So we had 6 or 7 presenters. I'll list them all below and link all their channels below, and they were all great. Like, and there was so much to learn from them. But some things that I took away from the event were from these 3 creators. I want to really kind of talk about 3 or 4, I guess. One is Roberto Blake, and the thing that I really liked about Roberto Blake, and he's just a great YouTuber and always has some great insight and learns for people out there, was really just about finding your own voice. I know a lot of folks talk about like copying other creators and people trying to be the next Casey, people not trying to be the next Peter McKinnon. I'm not really concerned about that. I know that there probably will be some things in my vlogs as I go on that will mirror some of the things they are doing. I'm nowhere near what they are, but like you kind of like pick up on what others are doing, especially as you're learning like I am. I don't have any preconceived notions of being somebody famous. I'm just pursuing a passion, wanting to learn, but I'm really still trying to find my voice. I'm almost 6 months in, and I'm not really there yet. But the one thing that I like that he said, and it kind of goes back to Casey. When you think about Casey, he did an iPod video years ago, and he had a bike lanes video. And the thing that Roberto says is find something to yell about, but find something you're really passionate about to talk about. So that's the thing that I haven't figured out yet what that is. I do a lot of beer stuff, and I do like going to breweries. That's not something to really yell about, but you understand what I'm saying. It's something I'm passionate about. I want to talk about is going to these breweries, especially these small independent breweries. So that was one thing. Levi Allen was another one. He's a great YouTuber. He's the guy that got me on the Habits of Excellence. I still haven't drank a soda yet. December 30th, I had my last Coca-Cola, and it is February 7th, and I still haven't touched one. And I don't really have an urge to do so, and I owe that to Levi helping me to break a habit that for years I tried to break. The folks that know me know that I've tried many times to stop drinking soda, and I think the most I ever went was 22 days, but I normally lasted like 2 days. But I just really don't even have a desire to do it. I feel really good about doing that. I might have one at some point, but also in my mind I feel like I'm letting the audience down if I don't do that. But the thing I like that Levi said is when you feel like everyone is watching you, especially, I've talked a lot on here about vlogging in public. That is one that I really struggle with, and I struggle with when I go to breweries. I know when I do the brewery videos that I want to do, I need to be talking inside the brewery, and it's inside those environments I really struggle. Outside I've gotten better, or if I'm walking down the sidewalk, I don't mind holding the camera, doing my thing, and go about my way, and I'm not really concerned what people are saying too much. It's when people get too close to me, and that's kind of what an inside thing would be. But he said whenever you feel like people are watching you vlog in public, they're not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about them. I'm still thinking about them seeing me, like when they walk away, oh my gosh, they saw me, what do they think? But when they walk by, I'm probably the furthest from their mind. They haven't thought about me any more than what was going on in that moment. That's something really to think about and remember, and I really thought that was powerful. He had a lot of other great things to say. Definitely, like I said, I'll link his video below. Check him out. He's got some great stuff out there. Another creator, or pair of creators, I should say, that said something that really hit home for me was Becki and Chris. Again, I'll link them below. But Becki and Chris are co-creators on a channel. They do some great videos. They're great photographers, just great video work, and they fly around the helicopter. I talked to Chris a little bit about that. Like whenever they're in a helicopter, it scares me a little bit, but it's so cool. They get some amazing shots, and I really just love watching their videos. But what they talked a lot about, it's okay to suck. It's actually good to suck because you see a difference of where you are now and where you want to be. Everyone's gonna suck. We're all gonna suck from time to time. I know I suck, and that's why I called my first video my worst video. Is like I'm looking for ways to get better every day. And the thing that's so encouraging is even though I know that I am a toughest critic on myself that I can be, I've had folks tell me about how they've seen me grow as I've done this. Like I've been doing this for 6 months. This is like the first camera I've ever owned really outside of my phone. And the phone has a great camera, but I've never had a purpose of wanting to video and record anything. So it's okay to suck. And I think that that's something for all of us YouTubers or anybody out there wanting to start out doing any type of creating, no matter what it is it's okay to suck because no one just starts out and is great at something their first day they do it. The other one is Cody Wanner. You guys know that I've talked about Cody a lot. It was such a pleasure to meet Cody. I always joke that, or not joke, I told Cody this. I always tell folks that, I shouldn't say joke, I don't know why I said joke. But I always tell folks that like Casey Neistat inspired me to want to try this. I love hearing Casey's story about how he started. He went out, bought a computer, and just wanted to start making films and things of that nature. And he was doing it with just the equipment that he had. So Casey like inspired me to want to get into the video making business and just kind of business. I'm not doing a business. I'm sorry. I'm just vlogging. He encouraged me to want to like. Inspired me to want to get into doing it. And then this summer I found Cody Wanner, and he just is such an encourage the doers guy. And I always say that he pushed me over the edge into just jumping and doing it. In August I finally said, I'm buying the camera, I'm doing it, I'm going forward, and I'm going to make my worst video, and I'm hoping every day as it goes by I make better videos. But the thing that he said at the conference, and you can watch his videos, he's a super great encourager, is do whatever you can to get uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, you are learning. And that's something that I've used in the business world for years. I learned it about 15 years ago. I was in a meeting and somebody said that in a meeting, it just clicked with me. And I knew then, like in those moments, whether I was going to do a presentation or I was going to an interview and I was uncomfortable, I knew that this is an opportunity, I'm learning something. And that's what's happening here. I have days where I have paralysis about wanting to pick up the camera and go do something. I've had paralysis about sitting down and recording this video that I'm doing right now for 2 weeks. Like I've thought about it, I've overthought it, I've thought like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with it? And I just want it to be great. Because I also know that there's some criticism that can be back there. I'm gonna put this video out and some folks are gonna say, oh great, another 368 micro conference video. I'm so happy you went there. And that's fine, but like I'm doing this for me and I'm doing it for my audience. I know folks that want to see it and hear about it, so I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. Again, there was a lot of great creators there. Just heard a lot of great things, met a lot of great people, and I hope to share more kind of as we go on. I won't always talk about what happened at 368 in the videos, because like I said, I know some folks don't always want to hear about that, but I wrote down so many notes that it would be hard to go over in a video, and I don't like my videos to get too long in the tooth, so to speak, and I'll share them kind of along the way. And there's some great things that I learned that could just be simply video ideas. I felt like I was writing just a longer list of video ideas kind of as I was going. So I guess we should get into the Casey story now. So I just looked at the clock and this video is getting a little longer than I really want it to be, so I apologize for that. If you're still watching, you hung out for the Casey story, I promise the story is a lot of fun and you'll enjoy it, and I'll try to make it really quick. As you guys know, Casey's inspired me to do a lot of things. I just think he's a great video creator. And when I knew I was going to 368, just the opportunity to go to 368, go to an office that he's created, an idea that he's got that is working, and they're just really doing some really cool things there, and they're inspiring so many creators to do different things. It was just great to be able to go there. And that was when, on Saturday when I was deciding about going there, I was like, oh man, it'd be really cool to see Casey, but there's like no chance that that's probably happening at all. Monday morning, I got up at my hotel. I decided to go out and explore. I walked down to 368, like I said earlier. I went to just kind of take some photos and maybe shoot a time lapse out in front of 368, and I saw another individual with the camera walk up. It's just me, Marie. We talked for a little bit. She was there from Denver, Colorado, was going to the conference as well on Monday night. It was just great to meet her. Like I think it relieved both of us to meet, to just kind of see somebody else there in New York City, because either one of us went with anybody there. We kind of parted ways. She said that she was going to go take some photos, explore New York City. I said I was going to do the same thing. I said I wanted to shoot a time lapse. I shot the time lapse. And I'll have you, it was cold. It was like bitter cold on this day. I had a coffee less than an hour before I got to 368. I had a coffee, I walked there, and it was just freezing outside. So once I shot the time lapse, I took a couple different photos, and I went on my way, started walking down the block a little further. I got just a block away, and I was like, I have to get inside. I didn't feel like, I had to buy gloves later on. My gloves weren't thick enough. I have to get inside. I'm just cold. I want to warm up a little bit. And I looked across the street and I saw a place called Think Coffee. Went inside there, didn't think of it. Seemed like a really cool place. Ordered my coffee. It was like a little different coffee than I'm used to ordering. From a name standpoint, I'm very basic when it comes to coffee. So I ordered a coffee, paid for it, whatever it may be, got it. It was much smaller than I anticipated. I was kind of like grumbling. I'm like, oh man, that's kind of stinks. This is smaller than what I thought. It's hot though, like I'm warming up. And I'm just sitting down, looking at my phone, kind of looking at my camera. And I just looked up, and out of the corner of my eye, there was this guy. And I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. And then I realized it clicked. It was Casey Neistat. He was less than 5 feet from me. I was like, oh my gosh. I texted Christy. I said, Casey Neistat's in front of me. Like, my heart's pounding through my chest. And I know how Casey is. Like, he's a busy guy, he's a lot going on, and I didn't really want to bother him. But I know that whenever people ask him for a selfie, he's said like, hey, I wish they would have their camera ready, the selfie camera ready to go. So I had that all ready to go, and I waited for him to finish up his thing with the register. He walked over, was kind of waiting for coffee, and I just said, hey, Casey. And he looked over and said, hey, man. I said, you mind if we get a photo? And he walked over, put his glasses on, said, yeah, absolutely. We took a photo. I let him know I was going to 368 that night. He talked about how excited he was that they were having the event there. We talked a little about his boosted board because he was out that morning. I saw on Twitter he was out that morning on his boosted board. It was bitter cold, and he was dressed like he was going skiing later that day. And then he just said, hey, see you later, and then have a good night on the way out. So I thought that was really awesome to meet him. It was just kind of a highlight of the trip. Outside of meeting so many people, it was just really cool highlight to meet Casey and just kind of be able to 30 seconds of connecting with him just to say hi and let him know I was going to be at 368. But yeah, that was it. That was meeting Casey. I hope you guys liked the story. I think it's a fun story. I left there. The worst part of the story is I left there. I kind of just sat there. I texted a couple people that, like, oh my gosh, I just met Casey Neistat. And then I went on my way. The frustrating thing is I was walking down the sidewalk, and in the last video, and I might show a clip here. In the last video, I posted me walking down the sidewalk. My camera was out of focus as I was talking about the experience meeting Casey, and then the wind was just going nuts so you could barely hear me. So hopefully everything's in focus now and you can hear me now, and I hope you liked hearing the story. But thanks for watching, guys. This was my video about I met Casey Neistat. It was longer than I anticipated. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching the videos, and please hit sub and hit like if you want to hang out and see me anymore. Thanks, guys.